Some important questions indeed. There we are. Into the knife round we go on Inferno, a map that, again, if you just got into this, heavily favors New England Whalers in basically all respects. This matchup in general, I think, generally favors the Whalers. However, Imperium Esports with a new player on their roster are looking to surprise. Although this knife round is getting pretty bloody, Imperium will actually win it. So already, they're getting a massive dub. And also, if you've just joined, New England Whalers are hot off of a win against Team 1, who is the other team who was, up until that point, undefeated. There's lots of pretty insane storylines that I have to feel you should keep an eye on here. And immediately we're off to attack pause. Great, okay. That's a fun way to start us. Oh, we just got baited. Never mind. Wasn't actually a pause. But for this pistol, New England Whalers going to be having two people on sets of util here, otherwise armor across the board. New England Whalers, I'm trying to think what they like to do on Inferno. I think they go for hull pops right off the bat. That or they do, I'm trying to think, do they do arc traps as well? I'm trying to remember their strats, but honestly, nothing seems to be exactly jogging the memory. I can tell right now they're just going to be trying to rush B. Not really much counter util at all from the Imperium side as they easily get domed down. And the bomb will go down just as quickly too. Who's the new player on the server looks to try to get something to start us out, but unfortunately B-Wills will find the second kill of the round, second kill of the game. And it's actually looking to continue in with another 13 bullets. He probably could actually fight this over towards Coffin. There's only one actually committing to the fight here. Pone alone, Ben Leet will both go ahead and bail him out before he eventually falls, but that is just a Whaler stomping over the B-bomb site. Really, Rush being able to stop is all that it took. Young Iris saying that the Imperium haven't played many games together, but they've practiced with him for 4 days. I agree, he is a beast. Honestly, I still do think Imperium have a chance to surprise here, even though that wasn't the best first round for Kuz. Not everybody can have a Zelsis kind of showing, you know, where they get an ace in their first. What is this flash? This is kind of neat. Okay, he's going to go for the more standard flash here. This could be good for Carter J, maybe to at least find some early info here. Otherwise, I could see maybe him rotating back to A. But just like a very standard default for the Whalers at the moment here. They've taken brackets control, so pretty easy part of their default so far. But the first kill is actually found by Wilkie. Flash in as a response and a kill onto Carter J, I should say. And Kuz now just kind of has to hold the line for as long as he possibly can. Really not much you can do here other than hope that you don't get pushed over towards Coffin. I don't think anyone will actually give him the time of day. There's a flash through from CT to give him a bit more space to work with here. Whalers will respect it, not push their luck, and just choose to get the bomb down from here over towards Coffin. B-Wills also spamming in over towards Coffin. Just a really solid setup by the Whalers at the moment here. Also, Ben Lee is in pretty much a perfect position to kill any wide swingers in. There is Wilkie, who's able to respond with a deagle shot of his own, but the thing is, basically any commit at this point is so difficult to actually try to overcome. Ben Lee tries to go for the knife, which I love, and Allison eventually will be left at the end of it all in a 1v1. However, has absolutely zero clue on where Pone alone is located. He struggles a bit on the fight, shaking off the nerves, perhaps, to borrow a phrase from you, Young Iris. And the Whalers will find two. Pretty bloody conflict, I have to say. I mean, Imperium, not clean, but they do, eventually fall. Pretty scrappy at the end of it. Came down to a 1v1. They can be happy with those results, you know. New England Whalers still going to be able to buy, as you would imagine. Doesn't take much of a stretch of imagination to actually get across to that conclusion. And thing is, if they lose even a couple of more guns here, this could actually be a really good sign for Imperium heading into round number 4. You'll see Rampage immediately try to take a duel over towards Porch side. Kuz rotating over towards Balk. And the thing is, he actually could probably find out DJ here. He spotted the player. Oh, and he's looking the wrong way. Eventually popping in over towards B. That will be the final destination for the round. DJ farming players with a MAC-10 over towards mid. We aren't able to catch it all, but honestly, maybe we just kind of need to censor ourselves, because two nasty shots right there. Wilkie. Oh, that was kind of cute. Not going to lie. But I can get all excited as I want. That's still not going to be a win for Imperium. And their goal of trying to find a bit more damage ends up being very lackluster. And they'll be able to build up a little bit more eco. DJ, I would imagine, is going to be dropping that over to Rampage or maybe an AK. Nah, he's just going to be keeping it for himself. Bit of a bonus scenario for the Whalers here. It's kind of a strange sort of buy that they've managed to kind of piece together. It's not terrible. Still might do the work against Imperium, who, I mean, again, by all figures, should not be the ones to ruin Whalers' undefeated streak so far, but there's always a chance for a surprise. Off angle, committed into by Heretic, and that is a shot that you would bet your house on him hitting. But unfortunately, if you took that bet, you would be so much poorer. Carter J, he's going to get caught out with his pants around the ankles, and this is a bit more of the Imperium I was expecting to see. Caught off guard by basically everything that the Whalers throw at them. A very quick arch wrap already in effect will have its full fruits of their labor. Well, that is one of the worst possible case scenarios for Imperium, I have to say. I can tell comms were a little bit of a mess there for Imperium too, since they had absolutely no idea on the two people running through CT. But really, there's not really too much to do other than hope that it doesn't happen. Ben spotted that player in over towards Big. Tries to take the fight with Wilkie. Nelson now just kind of has to fight for his life. Now, if they teleported magically over to the B-bomb site, they would be in a really good state. Money's building up hard for the Whalers. Again, that was a little bit of a bonus for them. Not exactly in its strictest definition. There were still AKs and Galils and stuff, but they still got wonderful results out of it regardless. DJ will be dropping over a Mac 10. Look forward to maybe Ben Lee just pushing in with this. I was not expecting a Mac 10 buy on a round like this here, but it makes sense. Imperium will force up around these two guns that they have in their hands here. Heretic going to be saving for an up still regardless. Ellison making first contact, however, will fall victim after only taking down a single player here. The trades are strong at the start, at least from Imperium, but there's still a long way to go here. And as everybody knows, these pistols really struggle in the latter parts of the round. He tries to push through the smoke, but B-Wills is keen on the idea, and will take him down without any further hesitation. Over towards mid, DJ falls, and we enter a 2v2 post plant. Considering that there's no kits in play, but a decent set of utility, 2 smokes, 2 flashes, this is actually something that really, realistically, Imperium could actually go for. Ponalone is in a really power position though, and he gives up his life for the cause immediately. Billy Wills, he is just not going to have any trouble whatsoever. And find the first one, second one, going to go his way as well. I'm shocked, really. B. Wills on a 1v2. Thing is, he probably had that round in the bag even if he did die. There's a 10-second defuse that needed to come through. That probably wouldn't have happened. But the fact that he gets that second kill is really a good kind of cause for life. Lost to RNG. For real. B. Wills is nuts through the smokes, man. You can roll 777s. Know when to spam through. One of the smarter players around smokes, I have to say. Judging from this and the other games that I've seen him play as of recent. Pretty standard default. Not too much that's all too crazy. There is that half wall boost that does manage to catch out B-Will's position, but he doesn't die. Top banana control will be regained from Imperium. Now, next, they're probably going to try to work for a bit more brackets control. Either one of these two teams. B. Wills, regardless, he finds the first kill. That wasn't through the smoke, but it was right on the edge of it. Oh, God. And how do New England Whalers actually manage to squeak out a kill from that? This is huge. Look, the CT setup is in shambles as a result. Kuz now has to wait for Wilkie to go ahead and try to rotate over to help him hold the line. But thing is, he has to commit to an incredibly risky position, and as the smoke fades, he will back up eventually. And thing is, the Whalers don't actually have to push upon this. There's another kill over towards mid, but traded out once more. And it gets more and more difficult as time goes by for Imperium. They've basically drained all their remaining resources of utility left, and Heretic will have to go massive to at least try to close out this round. Finds the first one, and there is a Molotov over towards Boiler Room, excuse me. That does help the cause a little bit, but thing is, Heretic now basically makes his position incredibly known. As he flashes that over towards Valk, makes it so he can't go through. That's no longer an option. Imperium, they're running out of options at this point. They managed to find another one. Rampage taking down makes it so much more palatable. And now Pone alone will have to pull off a miracle play to actually keep this flawless dream alive. And while he will be able to find that first frag, the second will evade him. Young Iris is predicting a 16-5 win for Imperium. I'm not quite sure if that'll come to reality, but again, I'm still hoping that Imperium can start to prove their worth a little bit more. This is a team that, although they haven't been having wonderful results, I've always had a lot of hope in. Being able to get one on the board is always nice, however. Let's say this map, as of recent, does favor the T side, so I don't know. Maybe that's my hot take of the day. New England Whalers really lost that one kind of by sheer will alone. Seriously, that was looking great for the Whalers up until the actual execute came through. They have such a strong hold on the mid-round. And this won't be any different. We're just about at the mid-round point. Still, I'd say it's early days. But they've already taken top banana control. The attempt to retake will be there. The Molotov, even an HE for good measure. Not going to do anything to ward off this double stack that is in over towards logs. Heretic finds first kill, however. That is a big, big start. Keep in mind there's another duel that might potentially be happening over towards apartments. Still incredibly aggro from Imperium. They're working again for more control, and something that Imperium won't exactly grant them. Most convincing start we've seen so far for Imperium. Overall, New England Whalers have been dominating the early game, but perhaps it's a change of pace. Turning over a new leaf, that sort of thing. But the worst of it has yet to come. When the actual execute begins, this is where all hell will break loose. You see Carter J immediately just wants to bring the fight to the T's, and thing is, it's not going to work out very well for them. Flash plays in, the spray is very, very hectic, very, very wild. Although New England Whalers will still be on the back foot, trading 1-for-1 across the board, Rampage will try to make it a bit more possible. Gets that first and makes it a much more winnable 1v2, and more casualties across the board. Still, Imperium will stand tall at the end of it, picking up yet another round. It's 2 for them, and they still have life in them yet. Corpses, they littered the B-bomb site, but now it will be all swept up as we enter another round. This time, the money isn't so great for the Whalers. They're still able to piece together a buy. You'll see Ben probably on a Galil, or maybe even a Deagle, if he wants to go for a bit more util. Or a UMP, none of the above. Actually fighting really heavily for a banana, aren't they? Different approach that they're taking to it. Meanwhile, as I was looking away, Heretic tries to push down over towards alt mid, and works out great. The response from the Whalers is go ahead and try to wrap around arch side, push into them manually. The thing is, that's not going to be as easy as they thought, as Ellison has gotten involved, quickly finding a blisteringly fast round underway already. It feels like barely any time has passed, and we've already got ourselves into a 3v2 post plant. When the execute is that quick, sometimes it's hard to really respond and find out exactly what's going on, but Imperium have managed to come out with a better man lead. As they look to finish up this second half, Carter J is burning alive, but at least his teammate will be able to find the kill. Rampage against 3, can't divide his fights the way that he would want to. And will be a third one in a row from Imperium. So Young Iris, your prediction of a 16-5, I mean, theoretically, it could still be true. Theoretically. I'm not believing just yet, however. New England Whalers, while they will probably be dropping this round for very little investment, they're going to be on pistols. A couple of them upgraded, most of them not. All of them upgraded. Never mind. I thought their money was worse than I actually thought it was. Or actually, it was. I'm curious to see how Imperium change it up as a result. Good HGN. So they're expecting a lot more of an apartment's presence this time around. Heretic has been going for some nasty shots over towards alt mid. He's backed off completely, brought a friend in Wilkie to go ahead and try to make this a bit more secure. This is a solid arch hold, but I'm more worried about what Ellison has to deal with. He still finds the first kill through the smoke, Heretic, but Ellison isn't able to do the same here. So we stay even. And now we wait for the next frag to come through. It will come in the form of Wilkie. Bomb being down regardless already makes this a solid result from New England Whalers, even if they get completely split apart one after another from here on out. But they actually do even better. They pick up yet another kill. B. Wills, he's going to do the same. Don't tell me this is actually going to be an eco victory for Imperium. It's looking a hell of a lot like it at the moment, especially with Ben Lee finally coming online as he goes in for the quick flank here. Now Kuz will have to clutch this out, but he has no time. I feel like there's almost no way at all he's going to be able to try to clutch this one out here. B. Wills, he's trying to play with the time, but does he actually have it? Kuz! Oh, don't tell me. I think he does. Oh my god, he does. I didn't feel like he had enough time, but turns out my feelings don't matter for anything, because apparently you have the wrong read on it. Kuz, calm, cool, and collected. Pick up another round for Imperium, but it has you sweating. Whalers made that a lot more competitive than I feel like anyone could have expected. And keep in mind that they only had pistols. They made a hell of a showing. And since now that they have rifles, they can actually put on a real good show for us. Aggressive and suffering. Over towards Banana. And really, despite all that util coming through, it's not enough to even find any kills. Carter J doesn't even get one from that power position he was in towards the close half wall. You definitely see a bit of nerves come out. Carter J, that was something you would at least hope that he'd find one kill off of. But now this will have to be a save for the CTs. New England Whalers will squeak out number 6. And while they are showing up with a little bit more promise, there's still a long way to go before I'm actually sold on Imperium. They can't be losing fights like that, that's for starters. But these are nerves, right? At least I can hope. A very great showing from the Whalers. We'll take 6, probably number 7 as well, judging by the eco for the CTs this time around. And judging by how Wilkie is actually picking up the Mag 7, maybe there was a little bit of hope. Banana control hasn't been the strongest suit. Let's be completely honest here. Imperium, they fought tooth and nail for it here. They set down a lot of suffocating utility at the moment. This time, not so much. There's no one to help him. Absolutely nobody at all from Imperium. This setup is lackluster to say the least. Imperium, they don't exactly look practiced on that hole that they're hoping for. And there's more layers of this onion that they need to peel. The defensive onion. I always try to fit in a Shrek reference every single cast I do. So I filled my daily quota. Ellison is located in pit, and he's dead already. Christ, okay. B. Wills is kind of a monster. But I'm trying to think of like things that could potentially go wrong for New England Whalers at the hands of Imperium. I'm really struggling to think of almost anything at the moment. Like on that round, Basically what they needed was a jump kill with a Mag 7, a couple more flashes maybe to actually try to push for more banana control towards the beginning. But if those two requirements aren't really met, you're not going to see many results whatsoever. I don't think that's necessarily a fault on Imperium, however. They were working with very little. But hey, case of raw, right? Oh, whoa. This is really risky, Goose. Holy hell. Miney still isn't wonderful, but they have that AK and the Mag 7 that they held on to from the last time. You'll see it tossed over, probably going to be trying to be, or sorry, going to probably, talking is hard. I've already casted 2 games today, I'm a little out of it. Probably going to try to occupy top banana. There we are. I can say sentences, don't worry lads. I have that all figured out. In fact, no, they're altering the setup entirely. One really heavily guarding B. Majority of players over towards A, including that AK and the Mag 7 I pointed out recently. And that AK will actually be good to find themselves that first kill. Goose will jump through the smoke and die just as quickly. Really? There's like 0 response? Honestly, nothing at all? Imperium Esports, why are they actually getting away with some of this? There's no shots through smoke or anything. New England Whalers are giving them so much respect on just these upgraded pistols. Ben Lee is at least holding close, so should be able to sniff out the flower pot position. And the spray through onto the second. What the hell is going on from Imperium, and why are they actually making this convincing? They don't have a kit, so Pwn alone has plenty of time just to go ahead and try to hold the line. Oh, he misses a shot, enough to get him off the defuse, however. No time at all. This round is basically over, just like that. He realizes. But I am consistently baffled at how that actually managed to look so good for Imperium. Really, just so much respect was given to the equaling players. I'm genuinely kind of lost for words in that respect. Let's just call it a pleasant surprise. A tactical pause underway. And overall, New England Whalers are looking really, really solid. There's a couple of weird, iffy moments that, honestly, I was really confused by. I still can't get over what their big plans about not spraying through the smoke at where they knew a pistol player just jumped out of. But I'll just go ahead and say hindsight being 20/20 for that one. These are the guys who are competing at the top of MDL. I'm literally just a caster, an open level caster, so you know. What do I know, right? Imperium are going to be bringing out the Desperado double AWP setup, however. I see a switch of form as a result. Three sets of HEs tossed, as well as a Molotov in for good measure on the New England Whalers side. So heavily working for banana presence. There is indeed a response from Imperium Esports side, however, and that comes in the form of an op shot as well as a flash on in. Trades are strong, and Ben Lee is able to survive 2 kills. And sustaining heavy damage, he'll put his team back, clawing their way back into an even scenario. But no rotates at all yet from Imperium. Oh, this is really disciplined from the Whalers. Or from Imperium, excuse me. They still realize that there's so much time on the clock that you can't exactly commit quite enough over towards B. I'm not fond of their setup that they have going over towards A. I think that they're not exactly in the rotator positions that you would hope for. Wilkie now basically has to be on a solo mission by himself and hope that he can stay alive. Gets 1 kill for his trouble, but that basically marks the end of his prowess. Considering that there's no kits in play, Imperium need to move quickly. They realize this and will immediately try to go for a bit of church control here, but they need to be praying when they're in this church that they don't die to DJ. And since they haven't offered up their prayers, they will be punished hard. However, the Heretic, whenever he's in church, always tries to do something sinful. Maybe he can pull off something nasty right here. He basically requires a kit. And I think he, again, also realizes that there's no opportunity at all. So nothing sinful for the Heretic. And New England Whalers will now get to basically 10 points. It's not all done and dusted yet, but Imperium, while they did impress me last time they were on an eco, I don't think this is something that Whalers will do again. As time has gone by, they have looked more and more solid. The hiccups have been less and less common. The ante's really going to be on Imperium to actually go ahead and switch things up here. Wilkie, investing the M4 half armor into this, is going to be the main person that I'm keeping my eye on for the CT side. As for Whalers, probably, honestly, Rampage. He knows what he's going to be up against. He feels completely comfortable bringing a MAC-10 to the party. Taking himself as an entry fragger. Oh, Rampage is going to have a nice little treat for him. Although Wilkie's peering over the smoke, here comes Rampage, ready to spray down 2, 3 actually, including the M4 member of Imperium. That is just the worst possible case scenario. I knew I wanted to keep my eye on Rampage, but I didn't think he'd find every single one. Heretic tries to put him out of commission, but that's only going to temper the beast even more. Pone alone is actually going to be able to find the finishing blow, but that was wonderful for Rampage. So, God. That just hurts. I feel like Imperium even did really, really well in that scenario. Boosting over Wilkie was a smart move. And I don't think it was the only thing that they could have done, but I think it was incredibly smart of them to even think of that right on hands. Unfortunately, they just weren't ready for the Rampage factor. And you always need to go ahead and calculate that. Wilkie, this is such a scary angle to hold. I'm surprised it actually works. Unfortunately, at what cost? Ellison dies. And Bracket's control already belongs to... What is going on? This is such a strange setup. Ben Leet! He's just taken over CT. Keep an eye on him. I'm not going to go ahead and try to take off the camera if I can so possibly help it. He basically has the most important position of the entire round. Carter J, he's going to be none the wiser. Oh, he's just going to be lacking the critical information. Ben Lee, you can't just keep doing it to them like this. Finally, Kuz will try to hold the line, but he won't have any shot of it whatsoever. Heretic now is going to be second up on the chopping block here. He does take down the bomb planter initially, but that C4 will be picked up, placed right back down into a more comfortable position, forcing the timer down to 40 seconds artificially. We'll have ourselves in a retake scenario, and B. Wills, who has been on fire for this entire match so far, really doesn't even have to do anything creative. Whalers don't have any util, however, so they're going to try to play for a fight here. Rampage going to be good on the trade, also watching. This is such a good setup. It's not your typical setup, but it does the job just damn well enough. Holy hell, Whalers played that one perfectly. B. Wills has been bewildering. Like, pun partially intended. I also think it's a good word to really describe how good he has been. What a rock for the Whalers. He's been rocking it, that's for sure. Young Iris, I still look back into your prediction in chat where you said 16-5. You didn't say for what team. And that might have been your critical error. Imperium, maybe they're going to be losing 16-5. Who knows? Despite the round differential that we have on our hands, though, I still definitely live by what I was saying before, is that Imperium, especially in the opening part of that first half, had so much promise, and they're showing a lot of it as well. In recent history, however, the script has changed. Whalers have been more and more dominant as time went by. Just a lot of crazy solo plays as well. I look at Rampage. I look at Bentley as well. Obviously, B. Wills. Look, let me put it this way. When the quietest player in the server is Pwn alone, that's how you know you're going to be, you're going to be facing off against something nasty here. And Pwn alone, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying he's been bad. He's insane, but he hasn't even had to do all too much just because the rest of his team has shown up massively. It's a scary scenario that Imperium are up against. Things might get better. As time goes by, however, Imperium, now they'll be moving over to the T side, might have a little bit more of a chance to kind of dictate the pace. God only knows. Well, I feel like that's about what we can say for our halftime show. Not much of a halftime show, isn't it? Just wait for both teams, to ready up. Guess now's a good time. If you guys have any questions in chat, I'd be happy to answer them. About what I think for this match or anything else that's on your mind. Otherwise, I'm just going to go ahead and just chill for a little. Say anything that comes to my mind. Well, okay, that was not much of a question chime, wasn't it? Into the second half we go. Again, keep in mind, this is the second game of the day for the New England Whalers. And also, if you're just tuning in, my name is Ito. This is for Mountain Dew League Season 13. And New England Whalers, being the heavy overdogs, are not disappointing thus far. But they'll move on to the more defensive-sided half. And Imperium are looking to definitely change up the pace if they can still possibly help it. 2 grenades will provide plenty of shrapnel for the awaiting Whalers. However, they don't seem to exactly want to have that as their meal. Ellison, good shot onto the Pwn alone member, or not the Pwn alone, the Whalers member, excuse me. Pwn alone will fall victim. Trades are not exactly as solid as I would have thought they would be from the Whalers. They look a little bit confused about the approach that Imperium have taken. That double HE really screwed them up over towards balcony. And, of course, out of nowhere, DJ just pulls out 2. Again, when I say that Pwn alone is the quietest player in the server, you're going to be in for a really, really bad time. DJ, of course, he's just going to somehow clutch this one out. And Wilkie now will have to make a 1v2. This is a good read. DJ will be quickly sprinting over to the B-bomb site. Thing is, he got some really good information when now Rampage knows that he's basically going to have to go over towards A. Wilkie still has time to go ahead and switch things up if he so wants. And DJ has pushed into CT as a result. This is being really well played by Wilkie. Probably the most probably my favorite player on Imperium, I think is a better word to do it. He can just seemingly pull out the craziest of rounds. And wow, he has definitely done it here. How has he managed to bring away DJ from B? That is absurd. They've practically switched locations. Oh no, and DJ, he's realized his mistake. He's going to try to sprint back over to B, but thing is, Wilkie, you need to get that bomb down soon. You don't have much time remaining in your hands, don't you? DJ. Now here's the bomb goes down. And all hell will now break loose. There's a kit and a flash on Rampage. New England Whalers have a bit more time as a result, and this 2v1 shouldn't be impossible for them. Although Rampage is bleeding internally, he can provide us a very necessary and important trade. There's a flash, and here comes the contact in. Wilkie finds 1. And find the second won't be possible. DJ, he takes a bit more of a vertical approach, getting on top of the fountain, and that provides just enough cover to catch off the Wilkie. I don't always say the Wilkie. He's not a proper noun, but that was proper destruction right there, that's for sure. I feel like despite that all, though, Wilkie played that really strong. At least made things a bit more competitive. Not a bad pistol performance by any stretch of the imagination. You'll see that the T side will choose to force up into the second one as a result. 3 AKs, 2 Deegs, and a whole hell of a lot of hope riding on potentially another round. Whalers having a bit of a strange setup here. Ponalon scouting for information will easily back up, will quickly back up. And let the fights come to him if he can. DJ, does he actually dry peek here? He does. That's ridiculous. Both Heretic and DJ don't need flashes. He'll win that head-to-head. The Whalers member, and God, that is just like completely unnecessary. That is like something they didn't even need to bother with, too. Imperium, they're just trying to find out if they could get an early pick, maybe get some early info, but when they're just not given that kind of chance, that opportunity, things will just look worse and worse as time goes by. Rampage and Ben trading each other out perfectly will buy enough time for rotates coming quickly, and the Whalers are just completely crushing it. Man, I can't even get all too excited about Imperium at this point. The rounds that they're losing don't even look necessarily close. I still have a lot of hope, though. I mean, again, Imperium, this is a squad that, although they've been struggling, I feel like their individual parts are strong, but just the sum of them not quite doing the job. What is this? They're pushing down mid immediately. Whalers are done. They've said, like, all right, we've already played 2 games today. Can we just finish this up, please? And my God, if they keep up this kind of momentum, this kind of pace, they might be granted their opportunity. Now, granted, that was also against Pistols. Nothing to blow your lungs out about. Nothing to add as a dot clip on your ESEA profile, but certainly something that just kind of crushes the morale. Easy change of pace. That Molotov down mid. I'm wondering, does Pono want to actually push this? I think he's thinking about it. He's thinking about pushing it, that's for sure. We'll decide against it. Default adopted from Imperium. I like how this bait and switch actually might be good for a couple of kills. Assuming that you don't even want to mess with Banana. Bomb is still down. Over towards T ramp at the moment, so they're just going to try to default out, find any early picks, and then actually push into an execute. No executes right off the bat. Anything of the sort. We don't have to make anything fancy. They just need something solid to work off of. And although these are some strange-ish positions that the New England Whalers have taken over towards A, maybe Imperium are just going to back off of this brackets control that they have newfound. Rampage? What the hell did you just do? How did you peek down and just find a kill like that? Wow, that just salt in the wound, isn't it? Carter J needs to go massive here. Oh, he actually could. Well, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Again, salt once more being rubbed into the wounds that Imperium have exposed. Chances, again, lie on a wonderful solo effort. And here it comes. There's the first. But it's just every single time. Every single time? Never mind. I was going to say that they're gonna get pincered in on both sides, but I guess Ellison will try to single-handedly prove me wrong. He gets actually both kills, I should say. On a 1v2, he will search for another. Bentley, he's watching. He'll get the kill without any further hesitation. I feel bad because Ellison, he did what he had to do there. When you're in a 1v2 like that, you have absolutely zero info to go off of. You definitely have to take a fight. You need to make that easier for yourself, relieve some of the pressure. But sometimes it's just so difficult to get that kind of opportunity. And a very trained team like the Whalers are looking to absolutely crush the Imperium side. Young Iris, again, you're hairs away from your 16-5 prediction being proven true. Oh my lord, Ben Lee. Maybe don't push that. Maybe don't push that, Rampage. Wilkie, nice little double for you. Oh my god, maybe it is coming true. The prophecy has been foretold. Imperium out of nowhere will strike back with, most likely at least, strike back with a round of their own. That was off the back of some flimsy pushes from Whalers. Bentley, I think, got a little bit too big for his britches. A little too confident. I respect the effort, though, you know. Gotta have fun with it, right? Goes to show you that Imperium not to be messed with. That was a great shot from Wilkie. The Whalers, surprisingly, despite being up 15-5, don't have a ton of money in their pockets. Enough to afford one more buy, no problem. They have that AWP in Ponolan's hands as well. Again, don't get it twisted. They're still heavily in the lead. Money isn't as crazy one-sided as I thought it'd be. Rampage, not choosing to peek over towards Banana. A bit of a change of pace from what we saw from the Whalers just that last round. Heavily contesting over towards A, though. As you see, Bentley sees or hears nothing. Same story with Rampage, so they'll bring Ponolone over. A bit more of a aggro position. Full on execute in. And once again, we wait for all hell to break loose. DJ holds the line, holds maybe even one more kill. And of course, TJ, chill. Could you? It's done, man. It's already over. You don't have to go huge on them like this. It's Wilkie against 5. He'll be given a freebie. But from here on out, things are going to be a lot more difficult. They're going to toy with their food a bit. Look at this. Ponolone, by no means is this a smart angle to hold, but he's just going to... Should be rewarded. Maybe another kill. 16-5 indeed is going to be the scoreline. So Young Iris, he called it, man. You definitely are the master predictor. You are going to be the chosen one to go ahead and ride us over to victory. It's going to go ahead and do for me, at least for this first game. Honestly, I kind of feel like a lot of my thoughts on the match were basically summed up while I was talking about it live. Whalers just look incredibly strong on their defaults. I don't think there's really anything all too crazy about it. They just felt really comfortable in almost every scenario that they were given. The few rounds that they did give up, like that one at 15-4, you know, they're having fun with it. I don't think pushing two people over towards Balk through a Molotov, through HE is exactly the wisest move. They realize that. They're having fun. They still won 16-5. New England Whalers are on the up and up, and I can definitely see them getting promoted to Pro League next season. 12-0 now in the season. They are insurmountable at this point. But I'm going to go ahead and toss it to a quick break. A couple of ads to run through as well. But we have another match coming up here. It's going to be Rebirth versus Rugrats coming up soon. We'll see you then.